Wow. Damn it. Sorry, guys. Yep, I just started a new stream because the old one just knocked me out. I'm not sure what happened with YouTube and all that BS, but yeah, YouTube just knocked me out, man. So I'm starting a new stream. I will propagate this out as soon as I can. So yes, I am live. We were supposed to be doing a continuing live stream about Cersei. Yeah, it's not. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, I started a new stream, so see if I can spread this out as much as possible. Wow. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it knocked me it knocked me straight out of the loop. So hope you guys are getting this. Stream was just quite unstable, so I started a new one. And anyway, all right. Damn it. Damn you, YouTube. All right. Getting back into Cersei. I hope the other guys are able to find me. Maybe I will get this. Let's copy this. Let's send out a message. I am live, which is terrible for me to do this. And let's create a post. New link. I'll put the new link up. All right. Yeah, everyone's demonetized for starting video with "Damn you, YouTube." Yeah, sorry. I mean, I normally on my end, you guys get the hiccups. On my end, I just get a big flash across the screen, like there's like a banner across the screen that tells me, and then because I can see myself completely live, and it just boom, it just like shut down on me. Jordan said, "Did you catch the second part of my rightful heir message?" Yes, that the PCs. Okay, let's go back in time here a little bit. All right, so you were saying that the PCs may be hired to find the rightful heir because she's technically not. She can never take the rightful position, and so the PCs may be put on a mission to find the rightful heir. And I think with what you're saying, and especially with how Cersei's character is, when we start from the first season up to the seventh, for the most part, the public has no idea. I mean, the public really has no idea how dangerous she is, and I love the idea that maybe the PCs really don't even think she's a threat, and little by little, as the enemies above her or of a higher station are eliminated, she's putting the PCs on a mission to, like you say, find a rightful heir, to establish diplomatic links to other societies and such, and essentially she becomes their patron of sorts, not warlock patron. I'm saying like she becomes their patron in terms of money and connections and whatnot. And then over time, they see her starting to snatch power, and it could be they even feel for her, especially if there are her enemies are far more vocal. I mean, we know even in the show, like people were spreading rumors and kind of making fun of her. The septon, the religious septon, made her do the walk of shame because of her, her proclivities with her sexual relationship with her own brother and whatnot. So from the outset, it could be like, wow, maybe, sure, she's ruthless, but maybe she kind of needs to be, because the people around her are treating her so bad. And in many ways, this is just us looking at this from a different point of view. And so yeah, it could be that maybe the players see this from one angle, but then when they leave, they leave and bring back this heir of the throne, not error. They come back, and from them being away, they're like, wait a minute, why didn't we see this before? You know what I mean? Rickard says, one, you could go the other way, like the PC gets aid from the rightful heir to dethrone the tyrant, but given that that the heir was never part of the nobility, grown up hidden from the courts. See, I like that as well. And remember, uh, even though it's not really emphasized in the show, there is an omen. She went to an oracle to just, which kind of predicted her background. And, one of the things they said, like, her children would live and die by a crown of gold and all this kind of business. And so it could be that she is acting on information, and her acting on the information will be her downfall, including the fact that maybe an heir is hidden from the court simply because she's been going around trying to hunt down the individuals that are are predicted to overthrow her. And so part of that is that the player characters are now protecting the heir who will eventually overthrow her in the first place, simply by virtue of her going after the heirs, because they will overthrow her, if that makes sense. Anyway, or Rickard says two. So they win the rebellion and get the throne by war. So that's the only way they know how to rule. And add in some cautiousness turned to paranoia, you end up with a worse tyrant. I like that. And how many times have we seen that in real life, where the rebellion, dethrones the tyrant, and then the rebellion takes over, and then they don't know how to govern this new chaos, and they become more and more paranoid as the people start demanding food and water and protection and the right to vote and all these kind of things. And it's like, shut up, and it's far easier to drag people out into the center square and just kill them, right? As everyone says, maybe she's trying to give birth to a new rightful heir, one with true power. So she seeks out a dragon or demon prince, Grassets, or Archduke Devil to create a Cambion or Tiefling sorcerer or some being of power. Ooh, who's this? How cool would it be that her children, like here we've been talking, like, yes, we know she has incest with her brother, right? But who's to say that she hasn't been giving birth? She is like the mother of evil. So she's been finding these otherworldly suitors, right? Like you said, like a demon prince or a dragon, or other princes of power. And her children are like of sorceress blood. And each of these, this is because in the society, she's unable, either through gender or blood, not able to take the throne, but her children can. And she's giving birth to these like monstrous in both personality and or appearance to take power, and one's just worse than the next one. So that'd be kind of sweet. I mean, Joffrey could have been the most human child, but then her next child takes the throne, and like, I don't know, he's some kind of like you said, like a Cambion tiefling or something like that. Rico says, incest, betting a being from the nine hells, potato. Yeah, right. And unfortunately, in this kind of setting, that is how power is achieved, right? Is achieved by blood, it's achieved by birth and by children. And on one hand, you could, of course, on one hand, you're like, listen, she's literally like dropping demons out of her hoo-hoo. But then on the other hand, you think, you could have a little sympathy, like maybe maybe her obsession with doing this kind of thing, giving birth to these like strange and mutated children, is a side effect of the society in and of itself. Like if she didn't have to do this, maybe she might have been a just and noble queen, but now she's doing this. And imagine being surrounded by a brood of children that are all from different walks of life in the Dungeons and Dragons sense, right? A half demon child, a half dragon child, a half, I don't know, ooze, half troll, half giant, half just weird, half naga, half hag or something. I don't know. All kinds of weird mutated children surrounding her, and they're all like devoted to her in different ways, and she just lets them, just run rampant all over the city doing the things. And of course the people are just like, they have to bow down. Why not? She's the queen mother and those are her children. And what let's imagine if she is the big bad evil guy in your world, but you don't get to meet her yet. Instead, the player characters are meeting the children one by one because they each like control a different prefecture or ward or parish or region or area of the world. And one by one, as the player characters are, disposing these tyrants, these petty tyrants in the swamp, and another petty tyrant in the desert, and another petty tyrant in the mountains. And of course, killing her children draws her anger. And so maybe that's a way for her to be incorporated into the story, where you hear about this mother who's giving birth to these wild and crazy crazy things, but you never find out. The animated movie about wow, I was going to say Gilgamesh. Wow, my brain is farting right now. Angelina Jolie played the performance capture character, and whenever she Beowulf, thank you. Let's say Gilgamesh. Wow, thank you very much. It was Beowulf. She could be that character in Beowulf, who is always, Cersei in Game of Thrones was known as a very beautiful. Yeah, I know Gilgamesh. Or like, where the hell did I get that from? Right, but Beowulf was. Okay. Cersei is known as a very beautiful woman. Maybe. As everyone said, that's an interesting point. Yeah. If I said the things that I thought in my head, just the random thoughts, it would just be chaos. But it could be. She's known in this world as being like this very beautiful woman, and yes, she's getting older. Although I think Lena Headey is like extremely beautiful. I could care less about the age, but anyway, she's this very beautiful woman, and it could be that she is drawing these men, these suitors, these jeez, these suitors to bed to have an heir to take the throne, right? And the proof that we need DBJ is Malkavian. I'm so crazy. Exactly. I hear you, man. Rickard says, part one, or twisting the prophecy angle, such as your reign ends, the world will be engulfed in flame. So she doesn't wish for the world to be engulfed in flame. So going to part two. So she does everything to forestall it that she can, ending up causing it to happen as her reign ends with a war that engulfs the whole world. She draws the king of the fire giants. Yes, talking about Surtur. Yeah. But yeah, I love where Rickard's going, where she maybe everything she's doing, even though from our point of view, we look at it as being like vile and evil. She knows that when her reign ends, the world will be engulfed in flames. And so everything she's doing to prevent it is actually pushing it towards that end. And that might be talking about the non sequitur of going to Surtur, the fire giant of the Norse mythology, it could be that she's actually pushing the world towards a Ragnarok type of ending by all of her machinations in trying to prevent it in the first place. And of course, no one believes her. So she doesn't have time to explain it. She's just doing all these evil things, trying to prevent the world from falling into chaos. And by her giving birth to another child and another child and another child, to take the reins of power that will prevent her reign from ending. And so maybe each child is worse than the next one and stuff. So yeah. Rickard says, so she kills everyone who might cause her to be dethroned and is brutal to prevent it, but it builds up the war. I absolutely agree with that. I love that idea where every step she takes to prevent it is just creating more chaos. The governments fall, people aren't being fed, famine spreads, disease. More and more commoners are taking up arms. Those rebels are starting to train themselves to take her down. And the entire time she's just screaming at the top of her lungs, like, you need to follow me. You don't know what you're doing. And everyone's just like, she's crazy. Zevran says, maybe not necessarily burning the actual world down, but her world, the kingdom, the queendom, the capital, her property and subjects. I like that. And Ricardo goes on to say, turns it from an evil character to a tragic character in a way. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Yeah, exactly. And maybe, just maybe, we find out that, like you say, like it turns it from an evil character to a tragic character, where the PCs, maybe somehow the PCs find out what she's trying to do. And she could be misguided and she's doing evil things, but they're like, wow, she really is trying to save the world. Like, sure, are we going to forgive her acts? No, we're not going to forgive her acts, but her motivations in doing it and it could be an idea of trying to convince her to step down. Like, listen, lady, you need to calm the hell down and let us help you. Or even after they kill her, they find out, they take her down, they kill her, they capture her or what have you. And like Zevran says, maybe it's just burning down her world, her kingdom or queendom. Once that's destroyed, maybe everyone turns around, the PCs turn around and they realize there's a horde just going to just wash across the landscape. And they're like, damn, we really needed her here. Rickard says, one of the best lines from a movie with lots of great lines. Yeah. Yeah. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. Zevran says, maybe the player character is a diviner that caused this. Ooh. Or an illusionist that made her believe the vision so much that she can't help but cause it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay. All right. Okay. Follow me on this. A player character goes into town, as player characters are wont to do, and uses their mind control, illusion powers, what have you, over this minor noble, this woman, or woman, man, or whatever, this minor noble, when they were first level, second level, third level, whatever, just low level characters. And they needed to take something, steal something, convince this noble to allow them, whatever the case may be, a simple spell, charm person, minor illusion, or what have you. And then when they leave, come to find out that the ramifications of what they considered their minor act actually grew into something bigger and far more nefarious than they ever thought it would. And so when the players come back, 7th level, 10th level, 12th level, far more power, far more people on their side, they realize that the PCs were the cause of this person thinking the way they were. Kind of like the Netflix show here in the States, Jessica Jones and Kilgrave, who's mind control pheromone powers. After he mind controls someone, they didn't feel mind control. They actually felt like they wanted to do what he told them to do, and they couldn't understand why they lost control like they did. And so that could be like a side effect of the player characters, which I would love to incorporate. That'd be hard. I mean, that'd be kind of tricky because the circumstances would have to fall in line. But I love the idea of the player characters actually being the cause of this in the first place. And to them, they just thought there was just a minor thing. Rickard says, I'm thinking more of the misreading the prophecy as she as I guess the prophecy itself means that she will be dethroned in a way, so she fulfills it by trying to prevent it. Yes, absolutely. And Zevran adds to it, the soothsayer has a wanted poster as an enemy of the state, poisoning the good name of the queen, committing treason. Ooh, I like that. I love the idea of like a player character. Like let's say a player character is like a cleric or something, right? A druid, and they're using like augury or some kind of like they're divining the future for this noble, and a very innocent prophecy like, hey, you will become a great queen and rule over the land, but there's this slight problem that one of your children would overthrow you or whatever, or something like that, right? And she like you say, she misreads the prophecy, or not just misreads it, but part of the idea of the misreading of the prophecy is, instead of embracing the prophecy, they attempt to prevent it, and every attempt they attempt to prevent it causes it. And I know you guys are reading that, but I'm just saying, if someone else is coming along, and how cool would it be that the player characters themselves are the ones who discovered and told this woman the prophecy, and when they leave, it starts this cascading effect where one by one she's doing more and more things essentially in the player's name to prevent the prophecy from happening in the first place. So I think that would be kind of cool. Zev says it says the soothsayer has a wanted poster. Yeah, and then when the players are like they're walking around, and you come to find out that people are like hunting them. Maybe they're bounty hunters to come after them. Because like you said, maybe the enemy of the state is poisoning the good name of the queen, right? The player characters have poisoned the good name of the queen. They're like, the player characters are like, we didn't do that. Like, what are you talking about? But of course, no one can find out about the prophecy. If people found out about the prophecy, they would know her weakness. So maybe once the prophecy is said out loud, the player characters are like, oh shit, we need to get the hell out of here. Like, we're in danger. We're just going to leave. I need to use the restroom. I'll be right back. And then the player characters just make a run for it, as she's like, get them, that would be sweet. Also, considering that we're talking about, what other things can we steal from this? Zevran says maybe she makes the player an advisor or vizier. Since they gave her this prophecy as a way to prevent it, she tries to use them to tell her more truths despite making up their stuff. I love that, because how many player characters just straight up lie out of their ass, right? They just pull that stuff right out of their ass, like, yes, you'll be a great queen, and roll dice, failure. Yes, and you will rule over the 5 kingdoms with a gentle hand and whatnot. All right, we're ready to go. See ya. And she's like, you're not going anywhere. You're like you said, you're my advisor. You're going to be here to foretell my future. Am I doing the right thing? And the player character's like, oh shit. I don't know if I'm telling her the right thing. Really? Maybe not. Is this the right thing? I don't know. You know what I mean? Also, so let's pivot just a slight bit, because I like where we're going with this. Let's try to turn Cersei into a player character, right? This is a little bit hard, but let's try to pivot into the player character realm. I know she's a character we love to hate, but as everyone says, you don't know how many times I played a fortune teller who uses tarot, who actively predicted things on accident because of the luck of the die. Well, how accidental is real tarot card reading, right? Some of us are like, that's not real. That's just randomly drawing cards and just making up stuff that we see, right? So who's to say this isn't the thing? Rickard says, quote, "Oh, we found this odd prophecy. As the lioness joins her ancestors and the throne is once more vacant, the world shall burn and all nations will be broken." Yeah, can we get a little more vague than that? Right? But I love it. And who's to say a player character is going to make up, they're just going to make up some vague prophecy and she takes it that it's real. But let's flip this into a player character. Let's imagine Cersei as a player character. Maybe she could be, it's hard to imagine her because we don't see her like actively fighting like with a sword or something, but I could imagine her maybe being like she could be maybe a character like a druid or a cleric whose abilities are, how do I explain it? They are flavored as summonings or things in service to her. So everyone says a mastermind rogue, maybe wizard or warlock. I could see that. I could very much see that. I could imagine her as a spellcaster and like, okay, how do I'm trying to explain this without going too deep into like making her like a summoner or something. I could see her reflavored as a druid without necessarily making her a naturalist. Like I could imagine her having creatures and beings and spirits serving her, either because she's connived them or bribed them or threatened them to serve her every need. So you could literally have a magic missile, but a magic missile is like a spirit of a warrior that attacks her enemies and just launches, throws spears or shoots an arrow or something, and could just be standing like right over her shoulder or what have you. Mind control spells, illusions, maybe. Rickard says low whiz sorceress, noble in exile, trying to reclaim their nation. I love that. I really love that. Like high intelligence, low wisdom, high charisma. Like she's good at what she does, but doesn't really think much further than her own nose in what she's doing. Yeah, Rickard says, of course, focusing on mind spells. Yeah, maybe not so much illusions, but like charm, hold person, things that force people to do what she wants rather than being too subtle about it, using more threats or something. Zevron says that ability to use the help action as a bonus action from 30 feet away could be her ordering the party or her guards to attack or accomplish a goal. Oh, dominate person, monster. She could even be a bard. She could be an excellent bard. She doesn't necessarily, we think of bards as, I'm playing a lute or a lyre or a flute or a harp. No, maybe she just plays people. Her, like you said, help action bonus, from 30 feet away, ordering her party and guards to do what she wants. Maybe she is the bard of the group where she's just like, I'm a noble. I'm going to tell you what to do. And listen, if you follow what I do, you'll be successful. And maybe people don't like her attitude, but when they follow her orders, they are more successful, i.e., the inspiration die from being a bard. And what are bards have a lot of knowledge? Maybe her, yeah, I could see her like a bard, just a puppet. Thank you. Zephyr says a puppet master pulls magic strings, dance monkey dance. Yeah, hell yeah, a bard rogue mix or bard wizard mix. That would be sweet. And what a great way to reflavor this kind of character, right? Where she's pulling the strings of, it's weird, but maybe her party members know she's pulling their strings, but they're loyal to her because they think there's something at the end of the end of the road. It's like joining a criminal organization because in your head you're like, oh, I'm only here temporarily, even though each day you're with this person, succumbing to their machinations further and further. It's like, okay, I'm gonna leave. Well, after this one heist, and then of course there's always just one more. Like we said earlier in the other chat, like there's always just one more. And I think she'd make a great player character if someone could play it in the right context, right? I don't see her doing. Yes, she can be a very physical character, but I could see this being one in which the social machinations being in a court where there's a lot of bribery and spying and threats and blackmail and seduction, and she could very well instruct maybe the other player characters, like you're going to be, each player character is part of her entourage, right, like the barbarian or the fighter or the rogue or ranger is her bodyguard, and maybe she has an advisor, and she has a spy master, and she has a valet, and she has a court fool, and maybe she has her brother with her and her father. Like we very rarely, I don't very often see player character groups related to each other, especially multiple levels of family. So she could be the quote unquote a character, the daughter, and someone else is the brother who literally is infatuated with her, but at the same time he's like, I wish we wouldn't do this. Sleeping in tents as they've been exiled from their own kingdom and they want to regain power and stuff, and that would be kind of sweet. I don't know about the idea of role-playing incest with a player character group, but if you're mature enough to go for it, why not? So everyone says maybe it starts as what seems like an escort mission, but they see her readiness to fight and stab and climb and learn she isn't just some high privileged waif. She's ready to struggle. I love that. I love that idea. And especially, there's what we write down on our player character sheet doesn't necessarily mean what we reflect in the attributes and what we put out. So follow me on this. Let's say you make up this character as a bard, or a bard / wizard, or a rogue, or whatever character class you're making, right? You can give her skills like acrobatics and sword skill and rapier skill and all that kind of business. But maybe she is learning this through dogged determination, and rather than already being skilled, if you understand what I'm saying. So in other words, maybe she's cornered by goblinoids, right? And the other player character's like, oh, I can't, they can't go to attack, go to save her. And she grabs a sword off the ground, and then she slays all 3 or 4 of the goblins that are attacking her. And everyone's just looking at her like, oh, wow, I didn't know she had that in her. And she's thinking, I didn't know I had this in me, but F it, we need to keep on going, right? So everyone says, I just thought of her as an Oath of Conquest paladin. Ooh, that's kind of sweet. Why not? Why not an Oath of Conquest paladin? We normally think of paladins as being like, dressed in plate mail armor and holding up a sword and riding on a horse or something. But maybe she grows into the armored wearing, kind of character. Or maybe it's just not appropriate to this. Maybe it's not appropriate to this version of this setting, right? That the Rigger says, I do like the paladin idea as well. You will bend the knee, learn who are your betters. I love that. Oh, imagine this. Like you said, Zev's, like maybe it seems like an escort mission. Okay, follow me on this one. The player characters do a session 0. The player characters agree that everyone is starting out as basically lawful and good styled characters. But the idea of the game is, as we progress, the point of the game is to lose themselves, lose a little bit of their soul, to eventually become the tyrants of this world, for the sole purpose of becoming like 20th level tyrant characters, to end the game there, to make new characters to take over the tyrants that are the player characters, right? So the whole point of the game is that is the evil campaign, but it doesn't start out that way. They just start doing more and more foul things. They start going over that line that they've set for themselves, and then eventually get to the point where they actually take over the kingdom, take the throne, usurp whoever's there, become these dominant people, and that becomes the first chapter. And then everyone takes a break in the game, and then the second chapter is starting out as first level characters again, and the PCs are the dominant force in the game. I think that would be sweet. That'd be great. Yeah. Everyone says Cersei starts as a princess, but when they meet her to guide her, she is full plate. She's in full plate. I like that too. Why not? We don't need to play with. We don't need to be tropified, right? Yeah, like you said, Cersei starts out as a princess, but when they meet her to guide her, she's in full plate. So why not? Or who's to say a paladin of conquest doesn't necessarily need to be dressed in armor the entire time? So everyone goes on to say, quote, "I must protect myself. What good are fine silks on the road?" I like that. Maybe the whole point of wearing the armor, like you said, is that's just protection, but the whole point is to become queen, so she doesn't have to wear the armor, right? She doesn't need to protect herself. And of course, you're not going to sleep in armor, right? When she gets to a certain level, she will automatically she will have enough power where she doesn't need the armor. She'll just surround herself with the other player characters who are all sitting back. The other player characters are like warlocks and rogues and stuff like that, with their arms folded, protecting this powerful evil queen, and completely convinced of her divinity, right? And Rickard says, to be honest, I imagine a paladin noble would wear fine silks most of the time, because full plate all day is not that much fun. Absolutely. And based on what kind of game you're running, it's not appropriate to wear armor all the time. Everyone wears their fine silks at some point, Is that says walking to work and seeing Robins dive bomb each other? What the hell? Yeah. Oh, so guys, thank you very much for joining me on the second part of the chat or whatnot. Our live streams. I will go back and link this into what we were doing. So yeah, Deadman says, make sure to change the title of stream to Cersei Part 2. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and do that too. Yeah, sorry about that, guys, man. And thank you for putting up with the hassle. I know it's a pain in the ass. So anyway, the bard Cersei plays the bear in the Maiden Fair. I love that. Who knows? Maybe the Cersei bard paladin conquest character is making songs and stories of things. Yeah, the Reigns of Castamere. I love that. Ricker says, "Thank you for doing this, mate." No problem at all, man. I just love having fun with taking these little nuggets, even if we don't. Like I said, even if we don't understand the character or we don't like it, there's something we can use in it and take. It's basically, we're just making up ideas we can steal and just put in our back pocket. And if we don't use it now, we use it later on. Reigns of Castamere. I can't hum the bars. YouTube's gonna ping me on that one. Hella yes, they'll do that. Yeah, her songs create auras of fear, a la Conquest Paladin. I love that. Oh, maybe. Sorry. Side note. Maybe, just maybe, the people start singing her songs that are really they're somber. They're almost, as the people sing her songs, they are reinforcing her control over the people, almost as if they are repeating her proclamations of how she dominates everything. And that, in a strange way, it's her subtle way of controlling everyone, as people repeat her little poetic haikus and her songs, as everyone in the tavern is singing and dancing, and then all of a sudden they start singing one of her songs and everyone starts putting their heads down and drinking their things, and they all get depressed, and they're like, yeah, you're right, she is the the bear in the Maiden Fair, sip, and once again they are under her spell. Once or not, yeah. Cersei Law, thou shalt sing the song of the lioness in union. Hell yeah, I love that. I love that. Man, small children being told by their parents about the queen maiden that gives them their life, and they owe their lives to her and whatnot. Oh man. Ooh, those who don't go mute. Ooh, nasty. Ooh, wow. I love that. Hell, you could make that a game effect, right? That her songs spread amongst the people could actually have a gaming effect on the PCs. Ooh, man. She's propagated her own harpies and sirens amongst the population, her own banshees, but they are actually like reskinned as agents of her own control and whatnot. That's nasty. Anyway, we're going too deep in this. We could go another hour on this thing. So, guys, we're going to do other Lannisters. We're going to do Tyrion, Jaime, of course. Jaime's tomorrow. Tyrion Thursday, Daenerys Friday. So, guys, thank you. Zephyr says, third pillar, her arena is full of pacifying songs, choirs of control. Oh man, I love that. I absolutely love that. She's got proctors that go around the neighborhood singing her songs. You catch you in the 23rd hour. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when I leave here, I'm going to turn on the stream for tomorrow. So don't be surprised when this stream ends. Arias of Peace. Ooh, nasty. Very nasty. Ooh, I love it. I love it. We talked about queendom, pharaohs or something. Maybe as an NPC, she is her own warlock patron, and she's creating these other people who are blessed with her to sing her songs, to sing of her glories. And oh man, I love that. Could you imagine player characters trying to fight and defend themselves, and slowly they're starting to like slow down and drop their weapons? I made a deal with myself. My warlock patron is my own ego. I've got to leave the room to change my own mind. My ego is so big, right? Wait a minute. No, okay, all right. Seriously, right? Okay, let's go down that path a little bit. So yeah, you made a good argument, me. Harry, what's going on? Second to like Harry. You know what? I'm gonna have to have you on a live stream or something, man. Because I'm trying to imagine how old you were when you first picked up role playing games, dude. Yeah, but could you imagine making a deal? You are your own warlock patron because of a prophecy that was told to you about who you would be in the future. And so the future you is trying to tell you, the past you, what you should do. So yes, you are your own warlock patron if your future you could talk to you in the past. Deborah says, my apologies for squirreling us. I only have good ideas last minute. Yeah. Ricker says, don't go there. That way lies the time paradox. Oh, you play with Dave Anderson? Oh, seriously, dude, damn. Sweet. But yeah, time paradox. Why not? Maybe the time paradox itself of the future you telling your past you what to do so that you become the future you creates the situation which ruins everything so that you eventually become the future you to try to go back to your past you to correct all the mistakes your future you is about to do in the first place. I think that we need to end it there. Guys, I'll see you later. I will turn on the chat for tomorrow, so don't be surprised when it pops up. Guys, yes, everyone says, my head hurts. Yeah. The future you effed up. Your past you becomes the patron, becomes the recipient of their warlock patron from the future. The future you is like, listen, I screwed up everything. Here's how you correct everything. And then by following those instructions, it actually causes the ruination in the future to begin with, to then take up the idea of, I need to go talk to my past self so that I don't make these same mistakes again. Guys, I'll see you later. See you. Bye. We're gonna have it.